Hi, I'm Luca, and welcome to this episode of Do It Right, Dynamic Hydronic Balancing. Today, we will continue to explore how to improve the performance of a hydronic distribution system by maintaining a particular focus on the interaction between pumps and valves, and especially what needs to be done during the commissioning phase. The commissioning process mainly comprises the proper setup of the system pumps and the proper regulation or balancing of flow rates before the heating or cooling system can be finally put into operation and handed over to the client, the owner of the building, or its representative. The specific commissioning methodology and operational procedure depends on the local standards and relevant statutory and legal requirements. But there are certain considerations which are always valid simply based on physics: flow measurement and tolerances, pressure sensor position, and bypasses. Measuring the flow is probably one of the hardest challenges during commissioning and could lead to a lot of time-consuming work, disputes, or even legal actions between the different parties involved. In order to make sure the right acceptable flow tolerances are taken into account, it is essential that the HVAC designer specify these tolerances by taking into account the sensitivity of the units they are looking to use within the application under design. When you look at passive units, like radiators, radiant panels, or even passive chiller beams, there is no necessity for accurate regulation of water flow rates, and it is normally accepted to just make sure the return temperature is within acceptable limits of plus or minus 2 or 3 degrees, for example. So, under these circumstances, flow measurement of the individual unit is not required as long as the return temperature is under control. Instead, if you consider active units where the air is forced across a heat exchanger, there is more sensitivity to actual flow rates, especially if the temperature differential between supply and return is high. In this chart, you can see how active heating or cooling coils behave and better understand what that means. The good news is that whenever the delta T is limited to a maximum 10 degrees, then a deviation in the flow of up to plus or minus 10% generates a very limited change in the heat transfer. And please be aware that valves and pumps, even though they are now very advanced devices, will sometimes not be able to maintain extremely accurate tolerances of the water flow running through a hydronic system. However, the ultimate target of a climate control system is always to deliver in the environment an accurate amount of energy, and the flow rate must be kept under control within reasonable deviations to avoid problems such as the well-known low delta T syndrome. The acceptable deviations, as we said before, depends on the specific application and the terminal emitters which have been selected to use. And once the tolerances are agreed on for flow rate measurement, it is time to look at the configuration of the pump and the differential pressure sensor, which provides the most important information: the pressure losses across the system. And we will do this in the next episode, where we will continue to look at the commissioning process of a hydronic system with dynamic balancing technology. Thank you for watching. Do it right, dynamic hydronic balancing.